Sports 2.
For the first time in history, the UFC visits the great state of Maine, and we're coming to Bangor with 10 fights you won't want to miss. Tomorrow's main event is headlined by that man, Ultimate Fighter Season 8 winner Ryan Bader. The Arizona State Wrestling All-American will have his hands full, though, as he squares off with this man. The surging Vince St. Preux is undefeated in the UFC, going 4-0 so far, and incredibly winning 13 of his last 14 fights. Plus, the co-main event features another pair of Ultimate Fighter contestants. Season 5 semifinalist Gray Maynard takes on Season 9 winner Ross Pearson in what should be a thrilling lightweight showdown. The UFC weigh-in show starts right now. They are getting set to go in Bangor. Meanwhile, we are coming to you from our Fox Sports studio in Los Angeles, California. Hello, everybody. I'm Karen Bryant alongside former top 10 middleweight Brian Stann, the soon-to-be returning to action Dominic Cruz, and making his Fox Sports debut, Josh Koscheck. Now, Brian, we've got a newbie down here. Do you have any advice for him?
You know, he already listened. Don't make your debut with Daniel Cormier. He's the biggest instigator in the world. He will sabotage it. Josh already listens. He's going to have a great debut here.
Very nice. Now, Dominic, you're a month and a half away from finally making your return. How's your camp going?
Oh, camp's great. It's nice to just be training every day, be able to come back the next day, do it again. I'm just in the workload of camp. These guys know all about what I'm talking about.
Just be careful.
I'm careful.
Be careful. Now, Josh, we haven't seen you in a little while. Welcome to the studio. What's been going on with you?
Well, I've just been focusing on getting back into training here in the next couple of months, and I'm just looking forward to the opportunity here. I know DC said I have big shoes to fill, so I wore my big shoes today.
Oh, so, nice. The big boy shoes. Great to have you here. Well, guys, we're going to dive right into our main event. Ryan Bader has basically been a staple of the 205-pound division for years. If you can beat him, you've proven you're a high-caliber fighter.
Oh, without a doubt. But let's be honest here. Ryan Bader's not coming to this fight looking to stay a gatekeeper for the top 10 of the light heavyweight division. He's coming off the best all-around performance of his career against Rafael Feijão Cavalcante, where he integrated his wrestling, his striking, all-around game to really win a beautiful unanimous decision victory. He's going to need to do the same thing if he wants to get past the very athletic and talented Vince St. Preux.
You know, exactly what you said. Ryan Bader's going to need to bring his A game because St. Preux is no joke. The guy's got one-punch power. He's extremely athletic. He's got a wrestling background just like Bader. He's confident in his hands. He's got a lot of momentum. He doesn't have a lot of losses, so he knows what it is to be one of the best. And he also has submission victories. You can't sleep on him when he's on his back or in the top position in his jiu-jitsu game because he will try to finish you.
Josh, your thoughts on tomorrow's main event?
Well, I think this is going to be an exciting fight. You know, we look back at the old days, you have striker versus wrestler, and I think that's what's going to play out in this fight.
It's going to be interesting. OSP's got a 6.5-inch reach advantage tomorrow night. We'll see how that plays out. In our co-main event, we have a story of redemption for both fighters. Former contender Gray Maynard looks to get his career back on the winning track, while Ross Pearson tries to put some controversial decisions behind him. For more on that, let's send it to Maine and Heidi Andro. Take it away.
Thanks so much, Karen. In our co-main event, it'll be Gray Maynard who will be facing off against Ross Pearson. Now, Ross Pearson was set to face Abel Trujillo. Now, he was forced out of this fight due to injury, but that's okay by Pearson. He gets to basically move 2 fights ahead, facing a ranked guy and a name in Gray Maynard. Now, he said he feels more athletic, he feels sharper than Maynard, and he intends to expose his weaknesses with his range and his timing. Now, he admits Gray Maynard's been in the octagon with the best of the best, but Pearson says he's coming into his prime right now, and he's looking to take people out. Gray Maynard, well, he's been in a little bit of a slump. Now, he got together with his family, his girl. They all decided that he wasn't doing the things he needed to do to be champion, and after all, that's why he's still fighting. So he made the move to Power MMA in Arizona, a very collegiate environment, as he described it. He said 1 month after being there, he already felt the difference, and he felt like he could be in the octagon. We'll see if the difference is big enough tonight against Ross Pearson. From Maine, we'll send it back to you in LA, guys.
All right, thank you very much, Heidi. Now keep it locked right here on Fox Sports 2, because when we come back, Bader, OSP, Maynard, Pearson, and the rest of tomorrow's fight card make it official in the Queen City of the East. The UFC Fight Night weigh-in show will be right back. Welcome back to the UFC Weigh-In Show. Karen Bryant, Brian Stan, Dominic Cruz, and Josh Koscheck here. It is time for the fighters to hit the scale, so let's toss it to John Anik, standing by on stage in Bangor, Maine. John?
What is up, Bangor, Maine? It is great to be here for the first time. Our Octagon girls, Chrissy Blair and Vanessa Hansen. UFC President Dana White is in the building. The greatest matchmaker in the world is Joe Silva. And the one and only Burt Watson is bringing up the rear. We get things started with the UFC Fight Night prelims on Fox Sports 2. First up in the bantamweight division, Nolan Tickman versus Frankie Saenz.
Tomorrow, UFC Fight Night returns to Fox Sports 1 with a full card of bouts, including a light heavyweight matchup between 8th-ranked Ryan Bader and 10th-ranked Ovince St. Preux. It all begins with a pre-fight show at 7 p.m. Eastern on Fox Sports 2. Then catch the main event at 10 p.m. Eastern on Fox Sports 1.
$136 for Frankie Saenz. And his opponent also making his UFC debut, Nolan Tickman.
Tomorrow, MLB on Fox Sports 1 returns with a doubleheader as Derek Jeter and the Yankees take on the Rays. Then Matt Holliday and the Cardinals square off against the Padres. Coverage begins at 3:30 p.m. Eastern on Fox Sports 1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go.
$136 for Nolan Tickman. Our next bout is in the middleweight division. Tom Kong Watson versus Smiling Sam Alvey.
Smiling Sam Alvey actually competed on The Ultimate Fighter Season 16 as a welterweight. He's now jumped back up to 185 pounds to make his UFC debut. He's on a 4-fight win streak with 3 TKOs, and in one interview leading up to this fight, he managed to call out Michael Bisping and Chris Weidman. This is his debut. Slow your roll, Sam.
Stop moving, bud.
Oh, come on, guys. Koscheck, give me your thoughts on the weight for Sam Alvey right now.
I can't even describe it.
He did make 185 there, guys. Quite a debut outfit.
That was interesting.
Wednesday, don't miss UFC Tonight, featuring the best insiders and analysis in the sport as we recap all of this weekend's fights and chat with heavyweight champion Cain Velasquez. UFC Tonight is Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern, only on Fox Sports 1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go.
185.
185 for Tom Watson. All right, next up, it is a pivotal bout in the women's bantamweight division. Sarah McMahon versus Lauren Murphy. First fighter to the scale is Lauren Murphy.
Lauren Murphy left the Invicta organization, the women's bantamweight champion. She also left her home state of Alaska for her new home in Arizona. She's training with the MMA Lab. She said training with guys like Benson Henderson, surreal. She wants to model her career after his.
$135. 135 for Lauren Murphy. And her opponent is the former world title challenger, Sarah McMahon.
Sarah McMahon comes from a wrestling background. At the Olympic Training Center, Sarah McMahon used to lock herself in a room, study film all day, and then come out and go after the men. $135 for Sarah McMahon. All right, next up, a matchup of two of the top 10 flyweights in the world. Jussier Formiga versus Zach Fun Size Makovsky.
Zach Makovsky, he fancies himself a beer connoisseur. When he's not training, he likes to kick back and have a beer or two. Right now, he's on an IPA kick. His beer of choice, Bell's Two-Hearted Ale.
$125 for Zach Makovsky. And his opponent, Jussier Formiga.
Jussier Formiga has 4 fights in the UFC. He's coming fresh off of a win via rear naked choke over Scott Jorgensen, which is one of the better flyweights in the division. Before he started fighting, he used to be a moto boy in his home of Brazil. And he's also a Judo South American champion, so you know he has the tools it takes to be one of the best in the division.
$126 for Jussier Formiga.
to Los Angeles. All the fighters who just weighed in can be seen tomorrow on Fox Sports 2. The upcoming main card fights all appear on Fox Sports 1, starting with a featherweight scrap between Thiago Tavares and Robbie Peralta. Peralta up to the scale first.
And speaking about Peralta, this is a guy who's taken no shortcuts in his career. He started his fighting career in Honduras and Mexico. He's won 11 out of his last 13 fights, and one of those is actually just a no contest, black belt in Taekwondo. And still, he's outside of the top 15 in a very stacked featherweight division. But this is the biggest opportunity of his career, taking on Thiago Tavares. He's going to need good takedown defense. Currently, he's got 74% takedown defense in the UFC. Not bad at all, and he's going to need it tomorrow night.
$146 for Robbie Peralta. And his opponent making his featherweight debut, Thiago Tavares.
Thiago Tavares, he was forced to cancel his 145-pound debut 2 times due to injuries. Before this will be his first time cutting down to 145, so he's healthy, and we're excited to see him back in action at a new weight division.
You know, the interesting thing, too, he's coaching a lot of UFC fighters now. I wonder, does he have someone in the gym holding him accountable, or is he his own head coach, which I personally know that situation usually doesn't do you very well in the UFC.
Yeah, that definitely could be a tough situation.
He looks great now, though.
Yep.
146 for Thiago Tavares.
He looks sharp. We'll see. Well, we won't know the answer to that until we see how he performs tomorrow, but he certainly looks like he's in shape, and we'll see if he's got the cardio from a bigger cut. He's taking a sweet time to get the face-off, though.
All right, next up in the heavyweight division, Sean the Savage Jordan versus Jack the Outlaw May. First fighter to the scale is Jack May.
Jack May actually went to 4 different colleges, all on a full basketball scholarship. He started at Duquesne, then Southern Idaho, then University of Idaho, and then North Dakota State. He earned his associates in general education. He's only been training MMA 5 years.
4 different colleges, like a Harlem Globetrotter. He's got a backup if his UFC thing doesn't work out.
Looks a little bit more lean than last time.
Looks in good shape.
247 for Jack May. And his opponent, Sean the Savage Jordan.
Sean Jordan earned 3 varsity letters at Louisiana State University. In fact, he was a member of the national championship team under head coach Nick Saban in 2007. He still today holds the bench press record there for the football team at over 600 pounds. I can attest how strong this guy is because I trained with him before. He hit a judo throw on me and completely broke my shoulder and actually had to pull out of a fight. So, a little tidbit to throw in there about how strong Sean Jordan is.
$260 for Sean Jordan.
Thank you.
A little height advantage there, guys.
A little bit. Who wins the tattoo battle there, though? There's a lot of ink going on.
You know,
Our next bout is in the welterweight
Exactly.
division. Seth Polish Pistola Baczynski versus Alan Brahma Choban.
Alan Choban making his UFC debut, bringing a 9-2 record into the UFC. this is a unique situation here. This will be the first time we have a male model, a runway model that is, making his debut inside the octagon. So I'm pretty interested in seeing how this one's going to pan out.
But we do have Luke Rockhold, Josh, so he's a semi-male model.
Not even Rockhold has a part like this kid has. I mean, we know for one thing, his walk to the cage is going to be nice.
Yeah, absolutely.
A lot of movement from the ring girls right now.
You know,
Yeah.
A little anxious up there with this guy.
Well, you know, one other thing, too, here, guys, is that he trains with the likes of Anderson Silva and Machida there at Black House, and jiu-jitsu under Eddie Bravo.
170 for Alan Joban.
You're saying male model can fight.
Hey, I'm saying, hey,
And
he's
his
9-2.
opponent, Seth Baczynski.
Seth Baczynski putting Apache Junction, Arizona on the map. He was a tough 11 competitor. He's also a very proud family man of 5 kids back home in Arizona. He trained at Alliance MMA with me and my team for this entire camp. He's in very good shape and ready to go. He's also a self-proclaimed honky-tonk king.
What goes with being a honky-tonk?
You know, if
I
you
live in
talk-
Georgia, so I should know this, but
If you talk to Sethy, you know exactly what he's talking about when he speaks of it. He's pretty adamant about the entire thing.
the honky-tonk king
Well,
with dollar bills on his
I can tell you this, he is not a male model, that's for sure.
Oh, Josh.
That hurts.
'71.
171 for Seth Baczynski.
Seth always comes to scrap, though, huh, Dominic? This will be fun.
Extremely scrappy, extremely durable. This is going to be a fun fight. These guys are going to bring it, no doubt. He's got a lot of experience, too.
Well, trained at Alliance, I'm interested to see the new techniques. He's going to bring probably a more technical game and strategy to this fight, too, as all of your teammates always do.
Pedal to the metal.
All right, now we get to a feature bout in the middleweight division. Tim the Barbarian Bosch versus Brad Tavares.
Tavares said in an interview that he thinks that Boach is going to look to really grind him out and not want to strike with him. And he actually called him out and said, look, Tim, if you actually want to fight, then let's fight. Don't just hold on to my legs all night. So it should be interesting to see how Tim responds, but I definitely expect Boach to come out here and use his wrestling chops against a striker as versatile as Brad Tavares.
Also tells you Tavares doesn't want you grabbing his legs.
Well, when you have Sugar Ray Seppo there as your striking coach, kicking is a big part of your game, obviously. I know Brad wants to use those legs.
He's got some big old legs, though, too.
Yes, he does.
'85. 185 for Brad Tavares. And his opponent representing Lincolnville in the great state of Maine, Tim Bosch.
Tim Boach didn't have to go far from this one. He's a Maine native. He did his training up here. Now, when he wasn't training, he did some gold panning, also a lot of fishing. Now, though his family is so close, his dad will not be in the arena. He gets too nervous watching it live. Mom, she'll be front and center, though.
Obvious home field advantage here for Tim Boach.
Oh, without a doubt. He's taking on Brad Tavares, who, before he lost to Yoel Romero, won 5 straight.
'86.
186 for Tim Boach.
Huge fight for both guys. Winner of this gets another marquee top 10 matchup in what's become one of the most fun divisions in the UFC now at middleweight.
Don't forget, fighting Yoel Romero the way Tavares did gives him a lot of experience against good wrestlers. Whether you win or lose, you learn something from that.
Oh, and there's no shame in losing to a guy like Romero. Most of the middleweight division's gonna have trouble with that guy.
And now we get to the co-main event in the lightweight division. Gray Maynard versus Ross, the real deal Pearson.
So, Ross Pearson. Okay, I talked to Phil Davis via text message, and Phil was explaining to me that saying that Ross took all his camp over in the UK for this fight. So, is that going to be the difference of getting the victory or going the other way on this fight?
It's interesting. He's facing a very good wrestler. Going to the UK, you wonder, what kind of access to training partners he have to mimic a wrestling caliber of Gray Maynard.
56.
156.
Dominic, we know that Ross has spent a lot of time with you at Alliance.
And
Yeah, he has, and for his camp out there, he was in UK, but a lot of times you don't see Gray wrestle, so let's see if he brings it out this fight. Gray Maynard has competed all the way back on Tough 5, so he's got a ton of experience. He went back for his camp and wrestled alongside Ryan Bader and C.B. Dalloway, so let's see if he got into his wrestling background a little bit more to use in this fight. 15 fights in the UFC.
He looks fresh right now. He's a guy who cuts from 170 to make this weight.
$56.
156 for Gray Maynard. All right, now it is time to take a closer look at the two men involved in tomorrow night's light heavyweight main event. Take a look.
Before I walk out, I have my walkout music, so it kind of put me in the zone, kind of calms me down. I always tell myself, I got either 8 seconds or 25 minutes. So every time I'm in there, I'm trying to knock somebody's head off.
That was nice. Nasty left hand from the top. That could be it. That's it.
I'm in a 5-fight winning streak right now. I definitely feel the momentum was in my favor.
For Ovince St. Preux, this is a very important fight because Ryan Bader represents a much higher level of competition than he's faced in his last 4 or 5 fights.
I am the most dangerous fighter OSP has faced. I've been in the octagon with the best in the world. He hasn't. This is his first step up in competition, and when he feels how strong I am, how hard I hit, that's going to break his spirit, and he's going to quit.
Right hand for Bader. Oh, huge uppercut. And it is all over.
Ryan Bader looked fantastic in his last fight against Fejao. What I saw is a Ryan Bader that has taken all of the lessons of his past performances and has put it all together and is just showing the wealth of all this experience inside the octagon.
I know I can finish OSP, and I expect to finish OSP. And this is going to be the best performance anybody's ever seen from me.
Wow! Just like that!
I'm not the type of guy who you're just going to punch and put away. I'm an MMA fighter. I'm known for throwing punches. If I'm throwing a punch, I'm trying to put my fist behind your head. I take you to the ground. I have the power to knock you out.
Wow! From inside the guard, nasty power.
You feel something funny happening to you, that means some type of submission is coming, or whatever you put in front of me is going to break.
First fighter to the scale in his first UFC main event, Ovince St. Preux.
Spent a lot of time on the mats with this kid. He's big, he's strong, he's fast, he's flexible. I trained with him when he was raw and knew nothing, and literally it seemed like it was overnight, and the kid had picked up just about everything you can imagine in the sport. He's only getting better. And interesting, Karen, we had the chance to interview him Wednesday night for UFC Tonight, and he actually said, he goes, I believe Ryan Bader is overrated. And I'm not saying it's going to be an easy fight, but it ain't going to be hard, is exactly what he said to us. Them there fighting words, Dom.
I couldn't agree more.
205.
205 for
Pretty relaxed.
OSP.
Brian, I know you said you believe he's truly the purest athlete, one of the
And
best
his
and purest
opponent
athletes in the
currently
sport.
ranked 8th in the
He is. There's no
world.
doubt about it. In
Ryan
terms of
Bader.
pure athleticism, running and jumping, this kid's at the top of the heap.
Definitely have another pure athlete coming from Ryan Bader, though. Let's not forget that. He's a 2-time Division I All-American. And one of his favorite techniques, he says, is his blast double leg. No question that comes from his wrestling background. And it probably complemented his 2001 Defensive Football Player of the Year award that he earned For all you Fox football fans out there, you know he knows football too.
205 for Ryan Bader.
Well, Bader said he calmed down the weights a little bit for this fight, and he slimmed down. He doesn't look it, man. He looks jacked and ready to go. Looks like that power double is going to be plenty powerful tomorrow night.
All right, that'll make it official. Thank you all so much for coming out to the weigh-in. We'll see you right back here for the fights tomorrow night.